Hey everyone, welcome back. When it comes to keeping your blood sugar in check, you always hear the same advice, right? Watch what you eat, take your meds if you need to, and of course track those glucose numbers. But what if I told you there's a super important piece of the puzzle that often gets overlooked?
I think a lot of people listening can relate to that.
Well, today we're diving deep into the world of minerals. Yeah,
Minerals.
those quiet but essential players that can really have a huge impact on how well your insulin works, how healthy your nerves stay, and even how you can prevent those pesky diabetes complications down the road. And the thing is, a lot of folks managing diabetes might actually be missing out on some key minerals.
That's right. And that can make managing this whole thing, well, even tougher. In the research you sent over, we found that being deficient in just a few of these essential minerals, it's like trying to run a marathon with a pebble in your shoe. It just makes everything harder.
Exactly. So in this deep dive, we've gone through all those sources you gave us to pinpoint the top 3 minerals that are absolutely vital if you're dealing with diabetes.
Definitely. It's not just about knowing they're important, right?
Right. We're going to break down why they matter, where you can easily find them in your everyday foods, and whether or not you should think about adding a supplement or two,
I think that's so key for people.
for sure. And, if you've been battling that feeling of never-ending tiredness, or you just can't seem to shake those aches and pains, or maybe you're constantly walking that tightrope trying to keep your blood sugar balanced,
Oh, I know that feeling.
well, understanding these minerals could really change how you feel day in and day out.
Huge difference.
So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Our first mineral superstar is magnesium. Now, you might be thinking, why am I more likely to be low in magnesium if I'm dealing with diabetes?
Well, there's a fascinating connection here. When your blood sugar's high, your kidneys are working overtime to flush out that excess glucose, through your pee. And unfortunately, a lot of magnesium goes out with it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it's kind of like your body's trying to bail water out of a sinking boat, but accidentally tossing out valuable life jackets in the process.
Makes sense. So it's like the very thing your body's doing to regulate that high blood sugar ends up creating another problem.
Exactly. And get this loss of magnesium can actually make insulin resistance worse. That means your body isn't responding to insulin as well, leading to higher blood sugar. And then, you guessed it, even more magnesium gets flushed out.
Wow, that's a vicious cycle.
It really is. And what makes it even trickier is that some of the signs of low magnesium, well, they're easy to dismiss. You might think,
Right.
oh, I'm just having an off day, but it could be something more.
So true. What are some of those sneaky signs?
Well, think about muscle cramps, especially in your legs and feet. Those sudden painful contractions? That can be a big clue.
Oh yeah, those nighttime leg cramps. Everyone's had those.
Exactly. Magnesium helps your muscles relax, so when you're running low, those cramps can become more frequent and intense. And another common one is that feeling of exhaustion, even when you think you've gotten enough
I
sleep.
was there.
Magnesium is vital for producing ATP, which is basically the fuel that powers your cells. Not enough magnesium, not enough energy. Simple as that. And then there are the nerve issues,
Ah, yeah.
that tingling, numbness, burning pain.
Oh.
Magnesium helps keep your nerves healthy and functioning properly.
So it's not just the high blood sugar affecting the nerves, it's the lack of magnesium too.
Precisely, and it goes beyond just the physical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, magnesium has this calming effect on your nervous system. So if you're feeling more anxious or you're having trouble sleeping, low magnesium could be playing a part. Even things like an irregular heartbeat or palpitations can be linked to low magnesium.
Wow, so magnesium deficiency can really affect a lot of different systems in your body.
Absolutely, it's like a domino effect. When we zoom out and look at your overall health, you see impacts on things like fertility. For men, low magnesium can mean lower testosterone and, problems with sperm. And for women, it can mess with menstrual cycles and increase risks during pregnancy. Interestingly, you might also notice a lower libido because, magnesium plays a role in hormone regulation and healthy blood flow.
So it's not just about those issues that directly relate to diabetes.
Right. And remember how we talked about the nervous system? Well, a magnesium shortage can make nerve pain even worse. You might become more sensitive to things, and even the body's ability to repair nerve damage gets slowed down. Then there are your kidneys. Magnesium helps prevent calcium buildup, so when you're low on magnesium, your risk of kidney stones goes up. And we can't forget about eye health. Magnesium is a real MVP when it comes to keeping those blood vessels in your eyes flexible and reducing something called oxidative stress.
What's that? Oxidative stress?
That's basically damage to your cells from an imbalance of, unstable molecules. And both of these things are super important for preventing diabetic retinopathy, which is when the blood vessels in the back of your eye get damaged.
Got it.
And it doesn't stop there. Your heart and blood vessels also need magnesium. It helps to regulate blood pressure, keeps your arteries from getting stiff, and reduces inflammation in your cardiovascular system.
Uh-huh.
So not enough magnesium could mean a higher risk of high blood pressure, heart attacks, and even stroke.
Okay, so we're seeing a pattern here. Magnesium is important, but where can people actually get more of it?
Well, let's talk about food. There are some really delicious options that are packed with magnesium. Pumpkin seeds are a winner. Just an ounce gives you about 40% of your daily needs. Cooked spinach is another great choice, 1 cup, almost 38%. Almonds make a great snack, about 27% per ounce.
Okay, I'm liking this list so far.
And for those who like to treat themselves, an ounce of dark chocolate can give you around 24% of your daily magnesium. Even avocados are a good source. A medium-sized one provides about 15%.
See, this isn't about deprivation. You can enjoy your food and still get the magnesium you need.
Exactly. And if you want to get a little fancier, think about a beautiful Japanese miso-glazed salmon with sesame spinach. That could give you over 60% of your daily magnesium, plus those healthy omega-3s. Or maybe a French almond-crusted halibut with sautéed Swiss chard. That's about 50%, and it's great for supporting insulin function. And for a real treat, a black truffle and dark chocolate mousse can actually provide over 40% of your daily magnesium.
Now you're speaking my language.
Mm.
But what if you're struggling to get enough magnesium from food alone? Are supplements the answer?
That's a great question. Supplements can definitely be helpful, especially if you're consistently falling short on your magnesium intake. Magnesium glycinate is a good one to look for because it's easy on your stomach and your body absorbs it well. There's Thorne magnesium bisglycinate, for example, which has 200 milligrams per capsule.
Yep.
It's a good choice for supporting nerve function and muscle relaxation. Another option is Doctor's Best High Absorption Magnesium. That one also has 200 milligrams, but it's in a form called chelated magnesium, which means it's bound to amino acids, helps with absorption. And generally, it's best to avoid magnesium oxide. Your body doesn't absorb it very well, and it can sometimes cause, digestive issues.
Good to know. Now, are there any common foods or habits that could be secretly depleting our magnesium levels?
You bet. Those refined grains like white bread, pasta, most breakfast cereals, they've been stripped of their magnesium during processing. And eating a lot of added sugar can lead to more magnesium loss through your kidneys.
Sugar strikes again.
It does. And even caffeine, particularly in those sugary energy drinks and sodas, can interfere with magnesium absorption. Alcohol is another big one. It depletes your magnesium stores and messes with how your body uses it. And even getting too much calcium, especially from supplements, can sometimes compete with magnesium for absorption.
So it sounds like paying attention to your magnesium levels could be a game changer for better blood sugar control and just overall health.
It really can. Now, are you ready to move on to mineral number 2?
Absolutely. What's next?
Zinc. And you might be wondering, why am I losing zinc faster if I have diabetes?
Fill us in?
Well, just like with magnesium, one big reason is high blood sugar. When your blood glucose is up, you pee more, and guess what? You lose more zinc that way. Plus, your pancreas, the organ that produces insulin, needs zinc to work properly and release insulin effectively. So if you're low on zinc, it can directly impact your blood sugar control.
Makes sense.
And don't forget about chronic inflammation. It's often a factor when you're managing diabetes, and it can really drain your zinc levels because your body uses zinc to fight off that cellular stress.
So are there any other things that could contribute to low zinc?
There are. Some medications can play a role, like diuretics, which are sometimes used to manage blood pressure. And ACE inhibitors, another type of blood pressure medication, have also been linked to potentially lowering zinc levels.
Interesting. So what kind of signs might you notice if your zinc levels are low?
Well, one of the more obvious ones is slow wound healing. Even little cuts and scrapes can take forever to heal if you're low on zinc. It's crucial for tissue repair. You might also find yourself getting sick more often. Zinc is a key player in your immune system, so low zinc means weaker defenses. And here's an interesting one. You might notice stronger sugar cravings because zinc helps regulate both insulin and appetite.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Right. Skin problems can also be a clue. Dryness, acne, rashes. Zinc supports collagen production, which is essential for healthy skin. And some other potential signs include a reduced sense of taste or smell, white spots on your fingernails, and even increased hair thinning.
Wow. So just like with magnesium, zinc deficiency can manifest in so many ways.
Definitely. And the impact goes way beyond those initial signs. If we look at the big picture, low zinc can affect fertility, just like magnesium. In men, it's been linked to lower testosterone, lower sperm count, and problems with sperm motility. For women, it can cause irregular periods and throw off hormone balance, which can make it harder to get pregnant. And again, like magnesium, you might also notice a dip in your libido because of zinc's role in hormone production.
And what about the nervous system?
Zinc's a big deal for your nerves, too. It helps protect them, so a deficiency can make diabetic neuropathy worse. That means more tingling, burning, and pain in your hands and feet. Your kidneys also rely on zinc. It helps control inflammation, and low zinc can actually increase your risk of kidney disease. And when it comes to your vision, zinc is super important for a healthy retina. If you don't have enough, it could potentially worsen diabetic retinopathy.
Wow, it's really all connected.
It is. And your heart needs zinc, too. It helps keep inflammation down in your cardiovascular system, prevents your arteries from hardening, and even helps regulate cholesterol levels. Not enough zinc can up your risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke. And at the cellular level, zinc is crucial for how your body uses insulin. It helps insulin bind to those receptors on your cells so glucose can get out of your bloodstream and into your cells for energy. A deficiency can really mess up this process, leading to higher blood sugar and more insulin resistance.
Okay, so we've established that zinc is important. Now, where can we get more of it in our diet?
Some of the best sources of zinc might surprise you. Oysters, for example, are packed with zinc. Just 3 medium-sized oysters can give you over 200% of your daily needs.
Oysters, huh?
Yep, and beef liver is another great source, about 80% in a 100-gram serving. For the plant-based folks out there, pumpkin seeds are a winner, about 50% per ounce. Grass-fed beef is also a good source, providing about 40% per 100 grams. And even chickpeas, while not as high as some other options, still offer around 25% per cooked cup.
Those are some good options. Any gourmet ideas to spice things up?
Of course. How about some Japanese oyster sashimi with kanzu sauce? A 100-gram serving would give you over 200% of your daily zinc. Or maybe a classic French beef tartare with quail egg yolk. Around 150 grams would provide about 90%. And for something different, try Mediterranean grilled lamb chops crusted with toasted pumpkin seeds. That could give you around 80% of your daily zinc.
Those sound delicious. But what if someone's thinking about taking a zinc supplement? Any recommendations?
It's always best to talk to your doctor first. But if supplements are recommended, zinc picolinate and zinc bisglycinate are usually well absorbed. Thorne Research has a zinc picolinate supplement with 30 milligrams per capsule. NW Foods also makes a zinc glycinate supplement, which provides 30 milligrams in that chelated form we talked about earlier. Generally, a daily intake of 15 to 30 milligrams is recommended for adults, but keep in mind that zinc can sometimes interfere with copper absorption. Copper is another essential mineral, so long-term zinc supplementation might mean you need to keep an eye on your copper levels as well.
Got it. Any dietary no-nos when it comes to zinc?
Definitely. Diets high in added sugars can be a problem because they increase your body's need for insulin, which can lead to more zinc loss through your urine. Whole grains and legumes contain phytates, which can bind to zinc and make it harder to absorb, but soaking or sprouting these foods before cooking can help break down those phytates. High calcium intake, especially from supplements, can also interfere with zinc absorption. Alcohol can deplete zinc levels and make inflammation worse, which we know is linked to insulin resistance. And as with most nutrients, processed junk food is usually low in zinc and can actually increase inflammation in your body.
So basically, eating a whole foods diet is always a good idea.
Exactly. Now, are you ready for our third mineral superstar?
Bring it on.
Chromium. Now, chromium is often overlooked, but it's a major player when it comes to blood sugar control. And here's why: your body loses chromium through your urine, and this loss can increase when your blood sugar is high.
Oh, so just like with magnesium and zinc.
Exactly. But here's the really interesting part. Chromium is a crucial part of something called the glucose tolerance factor, or GTF for short. GTF works hand in hand with insulin to help it move glucose from your bloodstream into your cells, where it can be used for energy.
So without enough chromium, insulin doesn't work as well.
Right. And to make things even trickier, things like stress, eating lots of refined carbs like white bread and pastries, and even frequent urination can all contribute to low chromium levels. And your body doesn't store a lot of chromium, so it's really important to get it consistently through your diet or, if needed, supplement.
Okay, so what are some signs that your chromium levels might be low?
The signs can be subtle, and they can sometimes look like other common diabetes symptoms. One clue might be that your blood sugar is harder to control than usual, even if you're doing everything right with your diet and meds. You might also get hit with stronger sugar cravings and feel hungry all the time, since chromium helps regulate both insulin and appetite. Feeling tired, mentally foggy, or sluggish could be another sign. Some people even report mood swings or increased anxiety. And in more severe cases, you might experience tingling or burning in your hands and feet.
So it might not always be obvious that chromium's the culprit. What about the long-term effects of not getting enough?
Well, low chromium can impact several areas of your health. For example, it can affect fertility in both men and women. In men, it's been linked to lower testosterone and sperm quality. And in women, it can cause irregular periods and hormone imbalances, which can make it harder to conceive. You might also notice a lower sex drive, which is often related to blood circulation and energy levels. And low chromium can affect your nerves, too. Those wider swings in blood sugar we talked about, because of insulin not working as well, can put extra stress on your nerves and increase your risk of nerve damage.
And what about kidney health? Your kidneys are already working hard when you have diabetes, and low chromium can speed up damage because of that increased oxidative stress. And it can affect your eyes, too. Low chromium has been linked to a worsening of diabetic retinopathy. Chromium also plays a role in how your body processes cholesterol and fats. So if you're not getting enough, it can lead to higher bad cholesterol, stiffening of the arteries, and a greater risk of heart disease. And remember how we talked about the cellular level? Well, low chromium messes with how well insulin works, and it can make it harder for your body to efficiently use carbs and fats for energy. That's why you might feel tired all the time or even gain weight.
So where can people get more chromium in their diet? Some common foods contain chromium, but the amounts are often smaller compared to magnesium or zinc. Broccoli is a good one. About half a cup gives you around 50% of your daily needs. Grape juice is also pretty high, with a cup providing about 40%. But if you have diabetes, you need to be careful with grape juice because of the sugar content. Maybe just have a small amount. Brazil nuts are another good source. Just one nut can give you about 30%. Lean beef provides about 25% in a 3-ounce serving. And even eggs have some chromium. A large egg has about 10–15%.
Good to know. Any fancy meal ideas to sneak in some extra chromium?
Absolutely. Picture a perfectly cooked Japanese Wagyu steak with sautéed broccoli and a Brazil nut pesto. That could give you over 75% of your daily chromium. Or how about a Mediterranean grilled lamb chop with rosemary-infused grape reduction and steamed asparagus? That's around 60%. And for a decadent treat, try a French-style duck liver pâté with poached eggs and truffle-roasted mushrooms. That could get you close to 50%.
Okay, those all sound amazing. But what about supplements? Are there any specific types of chromium supplements that are better?
It's always a good idea to check with your doctor before starting any new supplements. But if they recommend it, chromium picolinate and chromium polynicotinate are generally well absorbed and can improve insulin function. Now, W Foods has a chromium picolinate supplement with 200 micrograms per capsule, which is a good starting dose. Dorn Research also has a chromium picolinate supplement, but it's 500 micrograms per capsule, which is more for people with more significant deficiencies. Since your body only needs small amounts of chromium, it's usually best to start with a lower dose, like 200 to 500 micrograms a day, and see how your blood sugar responds.
Makes sense. Are there any foods or habits that can deplete chromium levels?
Definitely. Eating a lot of refined sugars and processed carbs is a big one. They spike your blood sugar and make your body work harder to produce insulin, which leads to more chromium loss. Too much dairy can also interfere with chromium absorption because of the calcium content. And just like we discussed with the other minerals, processed foods, white bread, pastries, sugary drinks, they're not only low in chromium, but they can make your body less sensitive to insulin. And alcohol can speed up how quickly your body gets rid of chromium.
So it sounds like chromium, even though it doesn't get as much attention, is really crucial for stable blood sugar and insulin sensitivity.
It really is, especially if you're dealing with intense sugar cravings, trouble controlling your blood sugar, or you're constantly feeling drained.
This has been super helpful. Thanks for breaking it all down for us.
My pleasure.
I think the big takeaway here is that while watching your diet, taking your meds if needed, and tracking your blood sugar are all important, paying attention to these 3 minerals, magnesium, zinc, and chromium, can be a real game changer when it comes to managing diabetes effectively.
Totally agreed. It's like adding extra tools to your toolbox, giving you more ways to take control of your health.
And the best part is that you can make simple changes to your diet to get more of these minerals.
Exactly. Start by exploring those food sources we talked about.
And if you're thinking about supplements, It's always a good idea to talk to your healthcare provider. They can help you figure out if they're right for you and what dosages are safe.
Absolutely. Ultimately, it's all about understanding what your body needs and using that knowledge to make healthy choices. It's empowering to know that something as simple as getting enough of these minerals can have such a huge impact on how you feel.
I think you've given everyone a lot to think about.
I hope so. There's a whole world of knowledge out there about how these often overlooked micronutrients can help you take charge of your health. I encourage everyone to keep learning and exploring.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, take care of yourselves and be well.
See ya!